On 5 News, the damning verdict on one of Britain's high street giants. Sports Direct is compared to a Victorian workhouse in the way it treats its staff. And MPs say its boss, Mike Ashley, must be held accountable for appalling conditions. Also, are we heading for a recession? Experts warn of a dramatic slump in the economy since Brexit.
And we will make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
Donald Trump formally accepts the Republican nomination for president. The man who received the UK's first double hand transplant describes his joy.
It's better than any lottery win because you feel whole again.
And new pictures of Prince George are released as he celebrates his 3rd birthday. Welcome to 5 News, I'm Julian Drucker. It's the biggest sports retailer in Britain with more than 450 stores on our high streets. But today's Sports Direct's success story was well and truly tarnished. One MP has likened working conditions there to a Victorian workhouse after a scathing official report found employees weren't paid enough, were humiliated and penalised for being ill. As for its founder, Mike Ashley, MP said it was incredible that a hands-on boss wouldn't know what was going on and are demanding he's made accountable. Dominic Reynolds reports.
Big brands and low prices. This business is pretty straightforward with its customers, but for the people inside Sports Direct, it's different. MPs say workers aren't treated like humans. Do its customers care? They say it's like a Victorian workhouse working for Sports Direct. Does that bother you?
If someone's being treated badly, then I don't think that we should pay our money there.
MPs have said they treat their staff like commodities, not like human beings.
I think that happens quite a lot in big companies like that. So if I'm not going to go to Sports Direct anymore because of that, then I'm not going to go to a lot of shops, I think.
Have you created a culture of fear with Sports Direct?
Definitely not.
Are you underpaying?
Here's the man who built it, and MPs say Mike Ashley was dragged kicking and screaming to answer their questions last month. He admitted some workers were paid below minimum wage.
For that specific bit of time, yes.
And admitted the policy of fines for arriving a minute late wasn't fair.
I think that's unreasonable.
The MP who wrote today's report said this company's practices belong in the past.
We thought we'd got rid of that in the 19th century in terms of some of the factory acts from the Victorian times. I can't believe it's coming back in 2016. We need to stamp it out quickly.
Dignity was in short supply in this warehouse. Undercover filming last year showed a culture of fear. Employees on insecure contracts afraid to take breaks. One even gave birth in a toilet. MPs heard permanent contracts were offered to young women in return for sexual favours. Jack used to work for the company and says he wasn't treated well.
It's one thing to sort of lift boxes for hours and hours, but it's a different thing to do that lifting while people are treating you like you're scum.
Sports Direct told us today it's our policy to treat all our people with dignity and respect. We're pleased the committee has recognised Mike Ashley's commitment to engage in addressing any shortcomings in the working practices at Sports Direct. Should Sports Direct be prosecuted for not paying the minimum wage? Well, HMRC is looking into that. But MPs said they want a review now into how this business is run to make sure your bargain doesn't come at someone else's expense.
Dominic, Sports Direct wasn't the only company criticised today, was it?
No, it wasn't, because the majority of people who work for Sports Direct aren't actually employed by Sports Direct. They're employed by one of 2 agencies, and it's these agencies that operate this 6 strikes and you're out policy, which seems to have made so many workers feel uncomfortable. Now, MPs say one of those agencies, called Transline, deliberately misled them in their evidence. That's a very serious allegation. Transline told us no incorrect or misleading information was given. So one thing's for certain, any changes that are made to Sports Direct will probably involve changes to those agencies.
Dom, thank you very much for that. Now, as one of the key arguments of the Remain campaign, the warnings our economy would suffer if we left the European Union. Well, today, experts said they had the first evidence that Brexit has been bad for business. They suggested the economy had slumped at its fastest rate since the financial crisis 7 years ago. Charlotte Grant reports.
The shock to our economy after leaving Europe would tip the country into recession.
Material slowdown in growth, notable increase in inflation.
Lower output, lower growth, and higher domestic prices.
Those were the warnings. Now evidence suggests our economy is suffering. A survey of purchase managers, those are the people on the front line of economic activity, keeping across output and new orders coming in, say the outlook is bleak. At this clothes manufacturer, they agree. For 4 years, business was growing, but now orders are down.
We have not experienced anything like this before, where everyone that we have dealt with, whether it's fabric sellers, whether it's brands, whether it's stores, are all really jittery and nervous. Uncertainty in the market really is bad for us.
The PMI, or Purchasing Managers Index, is a survey of 650 businesses. It gives an overall score based on their responses. Above 50 points to an expanding economy, but below 50 suggests the economy is shrinking. The latest figures show a drop from 52.4 in June before the EU vote, down to 47.7 in July. New Chancellor, on his first visit overseas to China, said he is prepared to take action if necessary.
I've made it clear that at the autumn statement we will have an opportunity, if necessary, on the basis of the data that's then available, to provide further support to the economy in the announcements we make then.
The Bank of England surprised everyone by not cutting interest rates last month. But analysts predict they'll now do everything to try to avoid a recession.
The Bank of England will almost certainly throw the kitchen sink at this when they next meet in August, and I would anticipate some pretty aggressive stimulus measures.
These latest figures are only for 1 month. It is the next several months that will determine the state of the economy. Charlotte Grant, 5 News.
Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has denied claims that he's bullied one of his MPs. He's been accused of allowing a culture of bullying to take hold within his party, with allegations that Mr Corbyn considered calling the father of an MP who'd made critical comments about him. He says that's untrue. Police in Norfolk are continuing to hunt 2 men involved in the attempted abduction of an RAF serviceman. Officers are still not ruling out terrorism links to the incident near the Marham barracks, although they say other motives are equally plausible. Tributes have been paid to an 11-year-old boy whose body was pulled out of a canal near Rotherham last night. Subhan Ali died after leaping into the water from a height of 18 feet. The incident has prompted fresh warnings from police over the dangers of so-called tombstoning. And 2 members of 60s pop group The Tremolos say they're over the moon after being acquitted of indecently assaulting a teenage girl almost 50 years ago. Leonard Hawkes and Richard Westwood were due to stand trial next year. Donald Trump has accepted the Republican presidential nomination, declaring to the convention in Cleveland, "I am your voice." And last night, that voice was unusually foreboding and at times apocalyptic. He described the US as a crime-ridden country at threat from terrorists and overrun by immigrants. And he made no bones about how his opponent, Hillary Clinton, fits into that. Simon Vigar has this report.
USA, USA.
From the land that invented the soundbite, the speech which was all soundbite.
Believe me, believe me, believe me, this is not believable, but this is what's happening.
A year ago, he was the joke candidate. Today, he is the official Republican candidate, and the candidate's message was bleak.
We don't want them in our country. Death, destruction, terrorism, and weakness. Ignored, neglected, and abandoned.
And in a bleak situation, you need
law and order. Law and order. I am the law and order candidate.
And the immigration policy with Mexico?
We are going to build a great border wall to stop illegal immigration.
It wasn't all Project Fear.
Americanism, not globalism. America first. America first.
The attacks on Hillary Clinton have only just begun.
America is far less safe and the world is far less stable than when Obama made the decision to put Hillary Clinton in charge of America's foreign policy.
The demonisation of the Democratic Party candidate involves chants of lock her up. Many Republicans don't like Trump, but the ones in the convention hall are true believers.
We got to set ourselves on a different direction or this country cannot survive.
And to rebuild this country back into the glory that it should be.
Does he love people? Does he love our country? And it's clear that he does.
After a speech of sound bites, he finished on the one which may well sweep him all the way to the White House.
And we will make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
The Democrats gather next week in Philadelphia, and as the polls tighten, Hillary Clinton knows she is in the fight of her life. Simon Viger, 5 News.
A man from Doncaster has made British medical history as the country's first double hand transplant patient. 57-year-old Chris King lost his hands in a machine accident 3 years ago. But now, after a highly complex operation, he's had both hands replaced. And as Jessica Omery reports, he couldn't be happier.
The hands were made to measure. They absolutely fit.
Chris King is just getting used to his new hands.
There's feeling there.
He can already wiggle his fingers, just days after having the UK's first double hand transplant.
I couldn't wish for anything better. It's better than any lottery win because you feel whole again.
Chris lost most of both hands in an accident at work. He was using a metal pressing machine when the safety guard failed.
They're my hands. They really are my hands. My blood's going through them.
It took 8 surgeons 12 hours to attach Chris's bones, tendons and blood vessels to those of the donor.
Just push out straight. Brilliant. And the other side. Lovely.
It was a success. But for the man behind the operation, new techniques throw up new challenges.
Nobody cares what their kidney looks like as long as it works. But not only do we have to match the hands immunologically in the same way we have to match the kidneys and livers, but they also have to look appropriate because the hands are on view the whole time. And so, in a way, that makes the job of finding the correct donor even harder.
Chris knows all too well that this gift follows grief for another family.
It's like somebody putting a arm around you and saying, you'll be all right.
The donor's brother said they're devastated, but proud. Chris hopes their kindness will encourage others to follow suit.
It's rather difficult to say thank you.
For now, the order of the day is rest, but he's already planning what he'll do with his newfound dexterity.
I'm looking forward to being able to ride my bike properly and a bottle of Timothy Taylor's. That's what I can't wait to get back for. Lovely beer.
You can be sure his family will be the first to raise a toast to that. Jessica Omery, 5 News.
Incredible stuff. Still to come on the programme. Sam Allardyce is confirmed as the England manager, saying he wants to make the country proud. Camping instead of the Costa del Sol, are more people taking staycations this year. And new pictures of Prince George as he celebrates his 3rd birthday. All of that and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching 5 News. There's been speculation for days about Sam Allardyce and the job of new England manager, and this afternoon the Football Association confirmed that Sunderland's Big Sam has got the job. Well, Chloe Potter is with me now. Chloe, what more do we know?
Well, as you say, we've known this has been coming for a while now, but this afternoon we got that official confirmation that the top job at England has indeed gone to Sam Allardyce. It has been quite a long, drawn-out process since Roy Hodgson resigned after England lost to Iceland at the Euros, but the news was confirmed on Twitter by the England team this afternoon, who said they were delighted. And then Sam Allardyce released a statement himself, saying he's extremely honoured to get the job. He went on to say, "It is no secret that this is the role I have always wanted. For me, it is absolutely the best job in English football. I will do everything I can to help England do well and give our nation the success our fans deserve. Above all, we have to make the people and the whole country proud." He's going to have an initial contract of 2 years, and his first official match in charge is going to be at Wembley, a friendly at Wembley on the 1st of September. So he's got a bit of time to get practising with the team first.
He has indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Chloe. Meanwhile, the Olympics have been hit by another doping scandal. A further 45 athletes from a number of sports and countries have tested positive for banned substances. It's come to light after samples from the Beijing and London Games were retested. The offenders haven't been named. Tourism boards across the UK are reporting record levels of bookings and inquiries as millions of British holidaymakers opt for staycations rather than going abroad. Rising costs, a weaker pound and security fears are thought to be playing a part. Experts say the boost to tourism couldn't come at a better time. Frankie McCamley headed to the Peak District to find out more.
When you've got views like this, who needs to travel abroad for a holiday? Whether your break's for a spot of exercise, seeing the sights or taking a dip, more of us seem to be pitching up much closer to home.
We've enjoyed going to Turkey, but obviously with the troubles that's there at the moment, that might mean that we might not go in the future.
I was thinking of Paris, just to go for like a long weekend. Don't really fancy it, to feel comfortable really.
Figures in England show a record-breaking 7.3 million people holidayed at home at the start of this year. That's up 10% compared to 2015. Reasons for this include the rising cost of holidays. Since the value of the pound fell, holidays abroad are now costing families around £245 more. And security concerns also seem to be affecting our decisions. Holidays to Egypt have nearly halved after a bomb brought down a Russian passenger plane last year.
I think you can find it all here. We have really busy resorts if that's what you want. We have great stretches of untamed beaches. We've got great countryside and really vibrant cities.
And the increase in holidaymakers choosing so-called staycations is having a positive impact on the UK economy, especially for tea rooms like this one in Bakewell, with people ditching that long journey for a French croissant and staying here for a much more British treat. The Bakewell tarts.
I think it's very important for the smaller companies in this country to support them because we are going through hard times.
Irrespective of the weather, we're British and we should support our country.
But if you do choose to leave these British shores for those sunnier climes, where else are you going to find a better cup of tea? Frankie McCamley, 5 News.
And finally, Kensington Palace has released 4 new photos of Prince George today to mark his 3rd birthday. They were taken at his family's Norfolk home and show him relaxing on a swing and with his dog. But it's been a busy 3rd year for the little prince, as Minnie Stevenson reports.
Now, when you're the future king and you turn 3, cue Kensington Palace releasing these extremely cute pictures of little George, taken by photographer Matt Porteous in the grounds of the Duke and Duchess's Norfolk home, where it's thought George is throwing a tea party today. The swing may have William and Catherine written on it, but George is very much owning the photo. For fans of Lupo the family dog, George feeding the spaniel an ice cream, although this has raised some eyebrows, with the RSPCA urging people not to do the same. And the Prince proves that even at 3, you can pull off smart casual.
I think one thing that William and Kate are really keen for is that George has as normal an upbringing as possible. They're sending him to a normal local nursery school, he's making friends there, local friends in the area, and I think it's highly possible that some of those little friends will be invited to his 3rd birthday party. It's certainly not going to be an occasion just for the aristocracy, and that's something that I think William and Kate have made very clear.
It's hard to believe it's been 3 years since the world waited for his arrival outside St Mary's Hospital in London. And this year in particular has been a busy one. From starting nursery, rucksack on and ready to go, to doing his bit for UK-US relations. How many toddlers can say they wore their dressing gown to meet Barack Obama? His baby sister Charlotte turned 1, photo taken by mum. And it may have been great granny's 90th, but George was right at the front. He even joined his parents at an air show. So all in all, it's been a very busy year and a very happy birthday to Prince George. Minnie Stevenson, 5 News.
Happy birthday, George. Right, that is it for now. I'm back at 6:30 with 5 News tonight when I'll be discussing the incredible breakthroughs in the world of transplant surgery. After the successful double hand transplant on Chris King, what does the future hold? Plus, are you being scammed? Warnings to be on the lookout for dodgy mail as trading standards intercept millions of letters every year. And as Donald Trump enters the final straight in the race for the White House, could his family be his secret weapon? Sian Welby has got all of the weather next, and I'll see you again at 6:30. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.